Aloha, it's Dave Lawrence, and we are catching up with somebody who we spent a little time with on the phone the other day prior to his arrival in the state, and that's Bob Marley, my guest from about a week or so ago on HPR. Aloha, my brother. Thanks for taking some time for us.
Aloha. Thanks for having me.
How's it been so far? You've been here for 2 of your 4 dates. You're on date 3 today, and then 1 more tomorrow in Maui to wrap it up. Any recollections, any experiences that have made an impact on you so far?
I mean, it's always been pleasurable for me coming to Hawaii. The Hawaiian people have always supported me and have always really given me the energy and motivation that I need, a lot of time on stage to really bring out the best of my ability and my performance. So, for me, every opportunity that I get to perform in Hawaii is definitely a special one. And every island bring their own vibe, nothing less than the last one or nothing more than, but just their own vibe and own feeling that I really appreciate.
Well, it's nice that you would say that, because so many people, they just say Hawaii as if it's one thing. But truly, once you come here, as you already picked up, each island is its totally unique place. And to not think of it as such really is almost disrespectful. So it's really cool that you've identified it like that.
Yeah, man, definitely. I agree, because every island definitely felt different. It's a different vibration, but still a positive one.
Yeah, and all part of this umbrella of Hawaii. You know what I'm curious about? We never got into faith the other day, and I've talked to, with, I told you, your brother Ziggy and I spent a bunch of time together a few different times, and one of the things we talked about extensively was faith. What were you raised with, and where are you today spiritually wise?
Spiritually, well, I'm raised with Rastafari, and I'm also raised in a Christian home, which there are definitely similarities there, with few different things. But as far as me, my faith is concerned, my faith resides in His holy place, So for me, I don't get into religion, because first of all, we said that Rasta is a way of life and not a religion. So for me, faith is just really living upful, living right, living just amongst your peers, your neighbors, and everyone you come across with. So my faith is a way of life, is Rasta. Yeah.
Is there something that you see as a guiding principle or force other than if it's not spirituality? Because I know what you mean, because my spirituality is sort of homespun myself too, and I don't know that it's attached to any organized thing. Is there another driving force that sort of informs you?
I mean, apart from the Bible, we take the Bible and just try to really, how would I say now, dissect it in our own light and really make sense of it. But, the Bible can't be the only book you study. There are many books upon books that you have to study in order to come to a central place, a central understanding, of this whole purpose of our being on earth. So, it don't really rest in one place. You really have to study even Buddhism and, everything else to kind of, get that centerpiece, I would call it.
So as a kid, you were raised from your earliest memories, though Rastafarianism was something that was practiced in your home. What's your earliest memory of it?
For me, it was more Christianity, because I was raised with my mother's mother, Thelma Henlan, who is a strong Christian. So for me, growing up was going to church with my grandmother and studying Christianity. And then coming home now to speak with my uncle and his brethren about Rastafari, and being able to make comparison of the two, and then, just try to formulate it for myself,
So there's elements of both Christianity and Rastafarianism, and you've sort of blended them together in what has become, your own mantra.
So to speak.
Right, well, it sounds like it, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's the way of any true shaman.
Yeah, there you go.
When you think of early musical recollections, if you grew up and you say, when I asked you what's your earliest spiritual recollection, it was in a Christian home. What's the earliest musical recollection?
Earliest music, outside of my father.
Yeah, that you personally can say to yourself, well, I remember I was like 5 or 6 and I would sit around and I would play this, or maybe there was this music that people were playing that you can see now the connection that it drew you to where you are.
Wow, well, for me it was so much. I can tell you that my first musical recollection was actually going to see Yellowman play, and I was about 5 years old at that time, but that was my first recollection as far as music is concerned, and just seeing the outpour of love and the cheering from the people and seeing, you know, feeling that warmth and that vibration, you know, it took my head to a different place. It didn't really put me in a position where I was saying, well, I want to be a musician, but it definitely made me appreciate the art, you know what I mean, so to speak, and the power of the art.
And yet it was a reggae act too, so it's a synergy. It was your very first act is not just seeing like a powerful live thing, it's a reggae thing.
Right. It was definitely a reggae thing. And then I was still back at home in Jamaica. But I can really say when I became of age, and still as a young child, when I really fell in love with music, you know, I think me and you spoke about this before. That artist was actually George Michael. You know what I mean, so to speak. When I found where I found myself being very passionate, where I found myself playing this one song for like hours on end, and you know, singing it in every which way possible. So
the hook had gotten you.
The hook had gotten me, and the lyrics too, and the melody. You know what I mean, I was drawn in at that point.
When you were young, did you... I never explored at all your mom's passion for ping pong, which is really something that it's like one of my very favorite things to do. Is that something that is in a part of your life? Where are you with that?
Yeah, I play. You know, I play, and I think I'm somewhat of a natural, thanks to mom. You know, but I do play. Every chance I get, I play. You know, usually when we're out touring, we'll find a ping pong board. I'll line the band up and beat them in round and round and round and round. So
it's part of your life.
Yeah, definitely.
That's cool. That's a fun thing to have, and it's an interesting sport, if you will. I never realized that people could play it like a sport like that. That someone could be like a tabletop champion. You know, you did this book, and that's another thing that we had a lot of stuff to talk about last time, and we never talked about Dear Dad. And I've since our interview come across quite a few different articles where it appears you're unhappy with this cat that you collaborated with on the book. And I wanted to hear it from you where you were. And if it's not something that you're real hip to talk about, you don't have to talk about it.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
Yeah, I just was like, I keep reading these articles and I'm like, what's the deal? Are you unhappy with the book, or?
Well, I'm not at all unhappy with the book. I'm very pleased and very proud of the book. The book actually did exactly what I wanted it to do and what I needed it to do, and a part of that was very therapeutic for me myself, you know, because a lot of things that I may have thought that I released stuff in my earlier life, such as, you know, losing my father, such as, you know, my early living conditions, such as even not being able to attend my father's funeral. You know, some of the things that I thought that I was rid of long time ago, in writing the book, I realized that I wasn't rid of yet. And you know, for me, you know, I say it all the time, for me, I will never bring my burden upon someone else, but will always accept someone else's burden with open arms. So for me to really be able to express myself, and then to get it to the people that I wanted to express myself to, and not being able to do it verbally, but given the opportunity to release it in the book, was very relieving, you know what I mean? So as far as the book is concerned, I'm very proud. Now, where the publisher is concerned, there were a few little things, you know, that I wanted to edit, you know what I mean? Not because it was incorrect, but because, you know, after doing the first edit and giving it to my sister, Sedella, to read, and having a heart-to-heart conversation, which when she first read the book, she said to me, you know, Kim, this sounds like a conversation that me and you should be having versus you letting it all out in a book. And it was very rewarding for me, for my spirit, when she said that, because that's exactly what I wanted, and maybe didn't know how exactly to go about having that, you know what I mean? So I wrote it in a book, and also I did the book because I wanted the people who took the time to listen to Kimani to be able to understand who Kimani is and where I'm coming from and what my upbringing is, and not just sit and say, well, you cannot sing of the struggle, you cannot sing of coming out of the ghetto when your father is Robert Nesta Marley and he's the king of reggae and he's this and he's that and he's that. Yes, all that you have said, it's true. My father is the king of reggae. My father still is a very wealthy man. But me, Kimani, the individual, was raised in a different conditions than what most people on the outside would look in and expect. You know what I mean? So the book for me in that aspect was very important to write. You know what I mean? So people knew who exactly they was listening to, and that goes for the people who took the time out, who appreciate me, and the people who just sit and listen to make their critique, you know what I mean, and not really knowing the individual himself. But so there was a few things that I wanted to change. When I went back to the publisher, he felt as though that those things were more controversial and would help to sell the book and everything else. And then my thing was, this is my story, so therefore I shall have the right to tell my story how I want to tell my story, and not what you may feel is right, and so that was my discrepancy with the publisher.
Did you feel like it brought you, when Cedella saw what you had written, it was almost like maybe she saw a lot of the pain that you felt, and did it bond you to her? Or are you closer with her as a result?
We always had a family bond, the bond was always there. I think the book did show them, express to them the pain, because a lot of things that they read they didn't know, because I've never said it to anyone, you know what I mean, and as far as a lot of things that I went through as a child, which there's still a lot of things left out of the book.
the politics must be thick of being a Marley. The politics behind it all, to be, I mean, it's got to be somewhat stressful what you can and can't say about the family. I mean, I've got to feel like, because it sounds like you were, some people portray it, the exiled Marley, in some of these stories, I mean, it was really, I learned so much reading these, and it was touching, it really changed my whole opinion of...
Well, there is no exile. There's no exile Marley or none of that, people tend to form their own opinion. No, I am a person with my own opinion, and sometimes, just like with any family, there are discrepancies. Your brother and your sister fight, and if you're loving and strong, you fight and you get over that fight and you move along together. You may have times where I'm not talking to you for a month or two, but we always know in each other. If the day come and Stephen was to say, yo, listen, I need you here or here, you do that without questioning, you know what I mean? And I know if the reverse is the same, if I'm to call any one of my brother and sister at any time and say, listen, I need this to be happening, or I need this done, or I'm in distress and this needs to be taken care of, those things happen without a second thought, you know what I mean? But so our discrepancy come down to the individual, come down to me want to sing this and that, but you think I should be singing this and that, and I'm rebellious saying, well, no, you know what I mean, this is me, you can't tell me say I can't sing this, so I gotta sing this. And then sometimes but I mean, as far as the overall, we know that our legacy is a big legacy, is something that we all have to continue and carry together. No one individual from the family can carry on this legacy by themselves. So we know that this is a unified effort and shall be a unified force in order to carry on this legacy. So we are very aware of what we need to do and what needs to be done, and we make sure that we take those steps and doing that in an effort of still to this day trying to make our father proud.
In that effort of having to make him proud, and the pride that you've got to maintain being a Marley, if you wanted to do something totally different than music, would you be able to, or do you feel almost bound that you've got to pursue this?
No, not at all. Not at all. I'm very free spirited. I've never been one to sit and to be told what I can and cannot do. And then my family is not. They're not that type of family either. You know what I mean? They
Or not even them so much as inside yourself. Like, man, I've got to do it.
I've done 2 movies. We're gonna start shooting the 3rd in, I want to say September, which is Shotters 2. I also have a clothing line that we're coming out with. I mean, so no, for me, you know, it's art for me, and I love the challenge. So I stop at nothing, you know, and I think my music portrays that. I'm coming from a reggae background, but reggae is the root of what I do, but I like to color it with a lot of different things, such as hip-hop, such as soft rock, such as jazz, such as dancehall, you know what I mean? So that's me. I like to express myself freely and being able to let my vibe and my energy and your vibe and your energy and the Hawaiian people and everywhere else influence me, and therefore once again I could come back now and relay these messages freely to you. For me, you know, the box has always been something that I hate. We know that not everybody listens to reggae, not everybody listens to hip-hop, not everybody listens to rock, but everybody listens to music. You know, so as far as if I have the creative ability to sing opera to you and relay my message there, then so be it. I'm gonna do it.
What would be the most surprising music that you like that maybe your fans would be like, wow, I can't believe he listens to that?
I think that I don't think my fans think I listen to rock, but I listen to a lot of rock stuff. You know, a lot of the old time rock.
Drop me some names, just a few names.
Oh wow, I've always, like, since then I've been a big Bon Jovi fan. You know, I've been a big Aerosmith fan, like, you know, like full out. The Fray is a new band out that the Christian. I love the Fray. You know, the Fray is playing in my car right now, and the last album I bought was the best of Kenny Rogers, and I'm a big Kenny Rogers fan also. So, you know, it's I mean, it's very diverse. My passion for music is a very diverse one.
That's a great way to leave it with. And you know, as a final thought, you mentioned the movie. You talked about the clothing. We've talked about your book. When you think of the future, what are you most excited about? Is there one thing a challenge perhaps you're looking forward to?
Mine is my humanitarian work. You know, is the ability to give back, the ability to present change, the ability to present opportunity. You know what I mean? Because I've been in situations myself where I'm sitting and I'm like, you know, the only thing I need is just a chance to show what I can do. You know, just that one person to say, all right, come, show me what you have.
Showcase something.
Yeah, so, you know, and I want to be, you know, someone that's able to provide change. And I start this organization called Love Overall Foundation. And, you know, we really focus on education. You know, we start off in Jamaica from my primary school, which is Falmouth All-Age Primary School. And, you know, what motivated me to start that was visiting the school after so many years of not being back and seeing the conditions of the kids, you know, kids walking around with torn up uniforms and shoes falling off your foot, and to find out there's still a large percentage of the school that cannot afford the tuition to go to school, and who can afford the tuition can't afford lunch money, and so on and so forth. So I wanted to put together something that can help to facilitate these children and to give them an opportunity. You know, sometimes I say that some of these children have, you know, some special talent that they themselves might not even know them have yet, because they haven't been pushed, haven't been driven to try to develop, or even to come out of their living environment and to be able to see something else and want to and to be inspired by something else and try to, you know what I mean, move forward. So I just wanted to be one that was able to present these opportunities. So, you know, for me, my passion is really the humanitarian side of things.
And to give back, a legacy of giving back. I love that. Well, that would make your dad proud, I got to believe.
I hope so. We're working on it. Yeah, him himself is a charity case, you know what I mean? So, you know, don't, what them said, the fruit don't fall far from the tree, yeah?
Kimani Marley, I really do appreciate it. I hope this has been all right for you. Thanks for taking some time.
Great, thank you. Yeah, hello, well, this is Kimani Marley speaking to you all the way from...
Thanks,
yeah, well, this is Kimani Marley speaking to you right now, and you're tuned into Hawaii Public Radio. Keep it locked right here with Dave Lawrence. Rock on. Yeah, well, this is Kimani Marley speaking to you right here in beautiful Hawaii, and you're tuned into the only show that matters with my good friend, Dave Lawrence. Yeah, Rasta. Imperial Majesty, this is Kimani Marley speaking to you, and how wonderful it is right here, 420.
With my friend Dave Lawrence.
Have a happy 420, alright. Yeah, this is Kimani Marley speaking to you right here with my friend Dave Lawrence saying have a happy 420. Love you.
Perfect.